cui se faire lavan, tarawan, yufu, bandusu.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Divine Guidance with Patricia and special guests. Wow. I was just telling the guests how, and I say this almost every show. You might get sick, tired of hearing it, but that opening is everything connected to me on a deep level. All natural, put together with Dr. Pat and I. So that brings my vibrations just to a balance. So I'm glad that we use that every show, especially today, because I need a little balance. But anyways, okay, so I've had a lot of people, and I'm really grateful, sending me emails of potential guests. Man, the lineup is unreal. We're going to have Commander Iltron back on Equinox. That's going to be a special show in energetics. We're going to have a beautiful truther that's known to the guest and myself, Dave. We're going to have, I've got the assistant to Kelly Kay. Her and I are working out times to have her. We've got Jean Walters, beautiful transformational worker. The lineup, and I'm booked now until the end of June. So if you want to be on the show, get in here because we're booking. And I kind of like to put a little shows in there with just myself and giving some direction, but I think I'll start doing some little shorts, video shorts, and placing it on my website. So a lot of things in the works with my new platform going up on Rumble. And Tanya introduced me to StreamYard, so I'm going to be looking at that and producing and doing some stuff. So it's an exciting summer coming up. All right, enough about me. I have two amazing, beautiful, divine workers and beings. If you first talk to them, you see such a diverse connection, but how they balance and bring it out together for everyone is amazing. I watch a lot of their work. They've graciously had me on their show as well, and I'll have them back whenever we can, because working with these two, spirit flows directly. It is divine guidance. It is following our divine soul, sovereign soul, and abilities with these two. So they come to us from Adventures for Connection, which is a big topic right now. With everything that's been going on, people are getting the urge to get up and move and go here and go there and see this and see that. And what's stopping most of them is courage and confidence. So I'm hoping that these two beautiful beings will give us the secret, unlock the key to going and being who we truly are. So I'm going to hand it over to Tanya and Norma Jean, and I'm going to ask you both to just give a little bit about yourselves to the audience, please. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful, Patricia. Very grateful to be here. My name's Tanya Powell, and wow, I'm in North Vancouver, British Columbia, so opposite side from Patricia. So we're in Canada. Norma's actually here as well right now. And so we've been doing adventuring, definitely. And Adventures for Connection started, well, let me give you a little more backstory. I've always been a black sheep. I've never fit in my entire life. And that's many of us that feel that way. We're older souls that came in to crack the lineage, to be the circuit breaker, to stop the trauma, to stop the addiction. And so most of us had a very challenging life that gave us lots of lessons, and I wouldn't change it for the world. At this point, I'm very grateful. I am a conscious connector that has a desire, using the energy healing, using the ley line, the grid work, the crystals, the everything. It depends on what I'm called to do, in helping and assisting and guiding really those that are ready to get to know themselves, because this is really an individual job. And quite often when you talk about people being afraid to get out and connect, that's one of those fear things that once you do it and take a baby step towards it, all of a sudden, oh, you get this burst of light, of energy. because that's light is frequency energy. And so as you do that, the fear dissipates and the energy goes up. So it's a beautiful thing to break past those little fears. If it's going out in a public group, make sure it resonates for you. You can body dose. And then we've created events around the world for people to get together and connect, like-minded souls, and to see themselves and the world from a new perspective, from another perspective. And there's no right or wrong. Nobody's ahead or behind. We're all equals in this. We're just on our own path, and wherever that may be, the goal is to shine as bright as you can so you may illuminate for others.
Love it. Absolutely well put. Thank you, Tanya. Norma Jean, how are you today?
I'm good. How about you, Patricia? Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
You know, it's this is something that I guess you would say I've been on this journey for quite some time. It really began for me when I was at the age of 33, where I figured out that the foundation that I was given coming into this experience, this journey, was not really a very stable foundation, if a foundation at all. So a lot of where I began was just, becoming this huge sponge where I was reading, just a lot of books, getting to know more about how to utilize the information I was taking in to understand self more, to explore who I really am. And so, during that process, I blossomed, I bloomed in my understanding of, you know, I would say probably in my journey, it was a lot of looking outside myself to understand what was going on in my environment, in my experiences. And as time went on, it was one of those that clarity became such a tool for me to recognize that when I would see these things, they were reflecting back to me. And
Mhm.
that's when that inner journey really started to take off. And it just so expanded my ability to see what this journey for self for me was about, and understanding that life was, so much more beautiful than I could perceive at the time. So it was one of those that once I began to look at within, see the being that I am, just here having this human experience and understanding that, I was I was the common denominator in everything that I was experiencing. So as I went along in this journey, I came to understand what was going on around me, why us as human beings were approaching things the way that we were, because we really weren't handed the tools that we needed during this, this process. And and that was the beautiful thing about my journey, is that I gave my own self those tools, recognizing that it had to be me that had to take responsibility. So it's one of those that as I've gone along and just explored so many things, that I've just become an even more massive sponge to gaining information that I take and understand, that becomes knowledge that taps into the wisdom that we all carry with us within our DNA, when we begin to understand what our ancestors actually represent, not just as in a higher realm, but the fact that they're so connected to us because of the DNA in which we carry with us, is what helps us tap into that wisdom, because that wisdom is left behind in the DNA. So as far as, being able to go out and have these explorations and, have the confidence and overcome those fears, is to understand that, it's those times that we step outside those comfort zones and we begin to explore these sides that, we normally wouldn't, give to ourselves, so that way, we would be able to see the world through a different lens. And I've been able to do that. I've been able to do this with Tanya, and I've become so much more since then. My ability to be able to take that information and that knowledge and those experiences to expand even that much more within myself has just been so profound.
Amazing. There is a saying out there. I don't know if I'm pulling this from my hat or not, but what lights you up lights up the world. So if that's not a saying, I'm going to copyright that from my t-shirt. But anyways, what lights you up, you lights up the world. So amazing. So I'm being nosy here, and you don't have to answer, but how did you guys find each other and connect? Has anyone ever asked you that?
Actually, on a Telegram network, on a group in Telegram. Yeah.
Nice.
Norma shared a dream with me, and we discussed it. And so we have this ability to, I know, she sees. I know, she sees. I know, she sees. So it's this beautiful symbiotic relationship. And that, and just, I think one of the most profound things Norma has shared with me is my ability to hold space for others, no matter where they're at and what they're going through, that I accept them just how they are. And that's unfortunately a very rare thing these days, because everyone wants to put their perspective on you. And I don't believe in that. I believe you can share a perspective, but it's up to that individual to decide what their story is, what they believe is. It's up to them. It's a personal journey.
You know what? I love that. And I totally agree with that, because that is the law of oneness, right? That is not crossing someone else's dominion. If they want to plant their broccoli upside down, let them. Just say, I'm not going to plant my broccoli upside down, but hey, get back to me. Let me know how that goes for you, because there is always something from any information, even information that goes, no, there's something, there's an energetic, there's a purpose, there's a divine reason. So we need to stay open, absolutely open, and not give up our own sovereignty or our own dominion to anyone else either, right? So keeping that balance, but you're absolutely, that's the law of oneness. You do you, I'll do me, we'll do we when we're connected to do something, period.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
I love that. That's what connected me to you, because I actually saw you do a couple shows on a platform, and I got to reach out and I got to connect with this lady because there's a lot of resonance there, and there's a lot of connection and alignment with the fact that nobody's above, nobody's below. We're here, right? Everyone has a bum and a belly button. Which one are you going to show today? That's how I usually start my classes. It's it, right?
They're both portals.
Yeah, exactly. We'll leave that one. All right. So ladies, I'm going to leave it open to what you guys want to talk about. I know everyone wants to hear how you can pick up and go to Egypt, and how you can pick up and go to Mexico. And I thought about this because I did it years ago. It was a little bit more chaotic. Let's put it that way. Living in the tent in the middle of the outback of Australia, not knowing why you're there. But Uluru says it's inconvenient at this time, but you know you got to work with her and the Aboriginal people, and you're just there. So even though it looks like you guys go and you get a hotel and you go swimming and it's joyous and it's blissful, is there anything happening behind the scenes with energetics and work that, you know? I know, I'm going to get down to the nitty-gritty.
That's okay. That's okay. So it started with my trip to Egypt and literally doing tarot to ask, should I go? Right. So a couple people had said to me, no, you're supposed to go alone first, because I was planning a retreat there. And I was like, well, I need to know that for self 1,000%, because at the time I didn't know, because the monkey mind was still a little involved. And so I did some tarot, and it was a hell's yes. And then money showed up in my account. I'm like, all right, I'm going. And that money shouldn't have shown up. I was like, okay, that's random too. All right, I'm going. And so I went by myself to Egypt for 2 weeks, and I literally followed my dowsing rods. What would you like me to do? Where would you like me to go? I'd have a dream. Oh, I'm supposed to do this. Okay, got it. So when you really surrender and just allow, even though, and we still struggle on these trips, absolutely. There's still moments where it's like, what are we doing in this space? But every time, while we were in Mexico specifically, every time I closed my eyes, I was being shown the children and what was happening for the children. And I knew my energy was playing in that on another dimension, so to speak, or at another level. And I just kept allowing. I'm like, okay, show me, show me. And I just kept allowing and accepting and trying to, working through that transmutation of it, because it wasn't pleasant, some of it, but it was quite beautiful. And then just being guided again, I douse, do we go here? Do we go there? And finding the right space for the three of us, myself, my daughter Jade, who's 18, and Norma, to hang out in together and all be comfortable is not an easy feat, because we all have different wishes, right? Jade wants to be way more social. Norma and I both want to be like somewhere really quiet. And so we had to bridge quite a bit of that. But we did find some magical spots to host retreats in the future. And I know just my energy, because I don't even fully understand it, but I'm being drawn to go to specific places. And that actually all came from my trip to Egypt and a rug that I picked up. That's another story.
How about you, Norma?
It was being having the ability to be able to see things definitely gives you that ability to have the lens that opens you up to see things in ways that for most is difficult without having these journeys, without having these experiences. And as Tanya was pointing out, the more she spoke to, what she was feeling, what she was getting in her knowing, I was able to see that by recognizing that when you watch the clouds, you'd be surprised at what is being shown to you outside of you to reflect and to back up basically what you're being shown, what you're being told, what where you're being led. And there was so many profound moments where in our travels, from one destination to another, or if we had planned to go do something specific that day, the clouds were saying to me so much, that what it was showing me was the thoughts and the imaginations and the creations that children to have that ability to be so innocent in what they perceive is going on in their environment. And it was a lot of the clouds were just speaking to that. When you can notice that there's a specific movement to clouds, and then there's specific forms that the clouds will show you if you're really paying attention, that will let you know on that feeling base, because you are a frequency being and on that vibratory state, you really feel what's taking place and what is transpiring due to the transmutation or the transcendence of what's taking place in an environment in that area, and what you as a being is helping in assist in that taking place, and doing it through the heart space of the greatest amount of love that you can have, knowing that you're going there with a purpose. Sometimes you just don't know what those purposes are until you arrive.
Yeah, I get that. And cloud watching is one of mine and my little guy's favorite thing to do. Actually, the cloud people are very, very predominant when you really, once you connect with them once, you can't stop. It's like you can't unsee it, right? It's there. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of times that we do our journey and we do our work. I'm just wondering for you two, if you only get 30% of the information, but then you guys are both connected in knowing and seeing, that's a very, very powerful connection and balance to have. And good on you both for, and it's also extremely difficult sometimes to work within those two and finding that unification of it. What does it really mean? What are we really getting, and that kind of stuff. Like Tanya said, if the monkey mind comes in, whatever. Many times we think that we're there to heal, rescue, transmute. And yeah, you spoke of the children, both of you, right? But I'm sure you didn't go in and physically take or yeah. However, what if and I'm doing this not for you ladies, because you're way there. I'm doing this for and not that my audience isn't way there either, but some of the questions is the expectation when you follow divine guidance, or you think you're following divine guidance, the expectation, that title that you give it to go and do it, when perhaps what you two went to do, just as a hypothetical example, would be to bring back the joy and the innocence energy of children, not what, as you know what I'm saying. So people out there, whatever you do, darlings, in pure intent, a good heart, even in confusion, do it anyway, because we never have 99% answers of what we do. And the reason we came here to do our work, and we're allowed to do the work that we do, is because we have reached a point where we trust spirit, but now spirit trusts us. And so if we can all have that into our divine being, allow that into your big, beautiful heart, that you are trusted also by the universe. You're trusted by the angels. You're trusted by the creator. You don't have to gain that trust or that approval. Just be who you truly are and flow with it, right, ladies?
Absolutely. I would say for sure. And it's really hard to say, okay, I'm going to go do this, even though my bank account doesn't reflect it, but I know I'm supposed to do it. And then it is about bringing joy and sun gazing every single morning and every single night, and swimming in the ocean and plugging into the sand and creating new habits and routines that you just don't get to do here at this time of year. Because, and I sorely miss the sun at this point. I'm like, because I know what that has done for my activations. And so I do know that my soul is meant to be in a warmer climate for some time in the future here to activate and work on that further. I originally thought I was supposed to go down and go visit a bunch of ancient sites and support that. And as soon as we got down there, was like, oh no, that's not it. So you just have to, again, follow the guidance. Something pops up and it's like, oh, we should go here. Oh, we should go there. And then even the way I would drive somewhere, do I go clockwise or do I do counterclockwise if I'm going in a circle? Because one has one meaning and one has another energetically. We also went to a Temescal down there, which is a sweat lodge. And I truly believe and know that a lot of work happened right there for that entire space, because I toned and chanted that entire time in there. And it was really profound and beautiful, but it released a whole bunch. It was like, done. And so to remember that's a really beautiful thing one can do, is because every sweat lodge has a fire, and that fire is like a spider web connected to the ley lines, as we were talking about, connected to the energetic lines within Mother Earth herself.
I love the lodge. I haven't been in one in a long time, but my husband and I are both keepers. And yeah, so when it's time, it'll be on our property. When it's the last time we built one in Oklahoma, we just got it finished, and we were uplifted by spirit, moved to Canada. So maybe there's a little bit of, I don't want to move, so I'm not building my lodge. So anyways,
Right.
So we all carry little things inside of ourselves, and it's okay to know that you do. And it's okay to represent that, because right now that's not an issue in my life, but I know that it's there. So when it comes forward, I do already have the truth of that issue to work through. So that's how I roll. So with all of this, Mexico, where are we going next?
I think it's down to the USA.
Shasta?
There's a four corners of, yeah, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico. So where they all meet in those corners, there's something important for my energy to be at as of right now, but also to go and freaking enjoy, go down the coast, enjoy the coast, go into the forest and the parks and enjoy that. So I'm not 100%. I never am. I cannot plan that far ahead, but that is my knowing thus far.
Okay. What do you see, Norma?
It's one of the things is that the connection that Tanya and I have is so profound, that the trust that we have with ourselves and with one another is like wherever she goes, I go, because I know that whatever work she's doing, I'm just being that other part that just holds that space and amplifies what it is that she is there to do. And so, when you was talking about like expectations and stuff, the one thing that I come to understand about myself in this journey that I'm experiencing is that I've dropped all expectations, because that leaves me open to more of receiving, whatever information there is for that area or that region, or for that specific energy that is there wherever it is that I go. And a lot of that comes from that I had to come to a place I had to trust myself. I had to trust my intuition in what I was being given, what I was being shown, and to be able to decipher all the information and take that and use discernment and use some critical thinking in that, in ways where I was able to recognize if a little bit of the monkey mind was interfering uh, in that projection or in that image or in that knowing. So uh, it's like when we get together, because of that connection, that's where that literal statement comes from. You can move mountains, and that's so true. It's so profound, especially when you have where there's more than one.
Hmm.
And when you have that ability to have that connection with another, because your vibration, your frequency are matched at that same level, and to be able to come together with another's perspective, to communicate in ways where we each communicate what it is that we're feeling, what we're seeing, what we're being given, and in that communication allows us to be able to come up with more of the purpose and reason, or the wholeness of why we are doing what we're doing, or what's taking place is taking place. That is, when we do that, then that allows our frequency and our vibration to rise to the level that it needs to, in order to perform whatever needs to take place in that environment, or in that area, or in that region. So that's it's profound for me to know that I have that connection, because it was something that I knew existed. It's just took it this long to come across, to get that connection. And then so it's been it's been such a phenomenal journey for me, in sharing in this with Tanya, and with many more that I know that are coming into this space as well. So that's where I understood that dropping expectation just leaves me open to being able to see the whole picture from that higher perspective when I'm in any given environment, place, or situation or experience.
Awesome. Wow. We're going to tape you and just put little sections of Norma and little sections of Tanya and create a whole wisdom book.
Can I share something of why I started smiling hard when Norma was speaking? Because when Norma
Absolutely.
first came up to Canada, we were like right away taking a group to Egypt. And as soon as we got there, I looked at Norma and said, "Can't go anywhere now, can you? Like you're stuck, aren't you?" Which would have been a first for her to have that and have to deal with that, because I could feel it in her. Yeah,
Yeah.
so she's really blossomed, because one would not see her speaking on here a year ago.
And you know what? Good on you, Norma. And Tanya. And as you were talking, it was the trust in that unification that your souls have come together in this lifetime to do this adventure and journey. And that knowing, when you have that knowing, you drop expectations. You go, I know for myself, when I meet up with new people, like with Tanya, I think the first time we talked was, I don't know what spirit wants from us, but I'm excited to find out what the connection is and where we go from here. And we've connected really nice. And now I connect with you too, Norma. So the thing is, you have that trust, you have that knowing that soul. We haven't even taken a break, and that's why I love this show, because I don't have to. But we will probably take one in a couple minutes just to give our audience a break. But when the three of us get together, it's just it's flowing. So what the unification, and just you're able to drop expectations when you have that trust in yourself, trust in your source, and trust in the person that you're joining and are aligning to do something with. And that just makes the whole difference in the world. So if you want to practice that, everyone, practice it in your daily life, right? I call them cookies. When Spirit says you got to go to the grocery store, you got to get dog food, and I don't have a dog. I know I don't have a dog. I'm not going nuts here. I know I don't have a dog, but I need to get dog food. So I
Yeah.
listen, because when I go to the shop to get the dog food, I met this person who does this and works on ley lines in Asia, and we're all connected. So I call my husband and I have learned to call them cookies. We get little cookies, and we got to pay attention to what the cookies are and follow it. I mean, what's the worst? I buy a bag of dog food and somebody needs it, right? That's the worst, right? So just do it in your everyday life, and trust yourself and fail forward. It's okay to fail forward, because what you see as failure is not. It's
May
not.
I add? Yeah, may I
Sure.
add to that, Patricia?
Go
That's
ahead, love.
beautiful.
Yes.
And thank you for sharing that. We do the same thing. Absolutely. One can better enhance their ability to follow these cookies, crumbs, whatever you'd like to call them, when you become the observer. So you're very, very observant. You're not the one thinking, you're not the one speaking, you're the one observing that. So you're the one observing, because quite often when we're speaking, it's like, oh, did I just say that? You don't even realize what you are saying. And so I encourage everyone to really get curious and get quiet. And it's like an active meditation to be that observer, to pay attention to where those clues might be, whether they're on the ground as a feather, or they're up in a cloud, or it's something someone says, or it's something you see. Oh, that's for me today, because this morning I was thinking about this. And so it correlates. So yeah, just to be really observant, and it does taking slowing down a little bit.
Yeah. When I do that with people who aren't used to it, I just ask them to feel a little ting. You get that little ting here and just in your throat. And when you feel that ting, that's a trigger to remind you that this is correlating with what has already, and follow that path with that excitement ting. Because so many people push that away as being nervous or upset nowadays. And it's that ting that just happens in your throat. It's like ting. Oh goodness. All right, we're gonna take a very quick break, Sierra, and we're gonna come back with Tanja and Norma. And I don't know what we're gonna do. Do you? Come back and find out. Welcome back to Divine Guidance with Patricia. Wow. An hour goes by fast. I know I say that every show. It does so. All right. I'm going to head back over with beautiful Tanja and Norma and let them give some information of what they got going on, because you don't want to miss anything that these two ladies do. So, what's happening there with your new platform and stuff that you're doing? I'll hand it over to you guys.
Absolutely. We're mid in rebirthing. And so we're creating micro learning for people on different subjects. We've brought in some masculine energy with David Pills and Alex Williams. And this will continue to grow as we create the platform. And so we're actually going to have a name change, and the Adventures for Connection will stay for the retreats. We'll have a community, which I suspect will be called Inner Collective, but the actual website and company name is going to shift to more represent the direction that we're taking in. And so definitely it's going to be a couple months. The Adventures for Connection site is there, and it's www.adventures, not adventure, for connection.com. And you can sign up for a newsletter, and I do once a month free healings for people. And then of course we're live several times a week in the schedule. There's a calendar on there for that. So if it resonates for you, to definitely connect and follow. And I know Patricia, we'll be involved more as we move forward, 100%. And Norma Jean is specializing in enealogy. Do you want to explain what that is, Norma?
Sure. Enealogy is basically a a tool that brings numerous modalities that are used, like numerology, the Enneagram, understanding the planets and how they represent the organs, understanding that each of these come with understanding what the numbers and what they correspond with throughout the week, and understanding that there's an order to everything. So basically what genealogy is basically it's a guided map to the keys to utilize to understand who you are personally by um, understanding how it's formatted and why the order is the way that it is, to understand that you come in with a destiny number and a psychic number, and you take those and you get to know more about who you are in this lifetime, but yet you're also being given that you may be those two numbers, but the other corresponding numbers are on upon the wings, so to speak, of the being that you are, and how those all those correspond and work together by understanding the the celestial sign of whatever the planet is, and understanding that each number corresponds with a specific archetype, and what that archetype represents, what that archetype is here to do, to have more of the gain knowledge of who you are, how it's going to be able to provide you the map to self to understand how to traverse this world as well as the astral plane, and get the two to come together to become the whole and keep you centered in understanding that it takes you out of that division that has been created for so long. Because when you understand that nothing is separate from you and you are whole with the all, you begin to create from a place of more open mindedness. You begin to create ways of being more solution oriented. So it's a beautiful one tool where, given the guidance, you can take it and utilize it in a way where you'll better understand self, and in understanding self, you'll be able to understand how to create the journey you say you want.
Wow. Amazing. I love it. Spirit and form, no disconnection, no duality, bringing and knowing that we are automatically all that we are out there here. Wow. That does that sum it up?
Pretty much. I mean, it's a conglomerate of, like I said, many modalities in one tool. And I
It's
mean, it
so
goes through
exciting.
astrological, yeah, astrological, numerology, enneagram, and like I said, understanding the celestial bodies. So it's one of those that it's a one tool that guides you in many different ways to come to a fullness and a wholeness of understanding who you are. And like I said, you'll be better creator. You'll be able to understand better how to um, be guided in this life, and it will definitely give you the chance and opportunity to become more solution oriented.
It's powerful, and it's
Yes.
really powerful with the newer changes, with the new way of living that we've all been creating, whether we're conscious of it or not. Most of us are, some of us aren't. However, the thing is, the awareness is going to be there. Everything's going to be transparent. And when that hits a being that doesn't have any cognitive or any connection to knowing that they're divine and spiritual, they're going to need and look for some of this information that you're just sharing. I can just see it. I'm so excited. I'm really excited about this, ladies. This is great stuff.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I just want to add for the genealogy, quite often when we hear about things like numerology or astrology, which has a couple different versions, this is taken back all the way to the beginning of creation. So
Good.
it's not stopping. A lot of them stop and go, oh, I figured it out. This is it. This is how it is. And it's like, but you can go further. So you have to be willing to excavate all the way back to the originals to really get and understand how this realm works.
You
Oh yeah,
bet. Go deep for folks.
yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
I mean, with Tanya pointing that out, basically what it does is the keys to your DNA to understand how to unlock those specific strands, to understand what that strand is showing you, giving you, and helping you to recognize where that separation becomes whole, because you see the bigger picture. You understand that all it is something that's telling you about your environment, so you know how to change it. That's the reason why it's such a solution oriented tool. on so many levels. So yeah.
Wow. And then when you take that information, you connect it with your soul DNA strands and you see how they all light each other up and connect and unit. Oh my gosh, I got the God bumps, ladies. Awesome. Do you have anything coming up in the very near future? And what would you like to tell our guests as a message individually or together? Let's have you back again soon.
Absolutely. The other thing coming up right now is learning how to dowse, whether that's body dowsing or dowsing with rods. The schedule is not done for that one yet, but it will be. And then I'm also doing a course creation on how to learn how to heal yourself, energy healing, and how to work with pets. And we've done a little bit of that in the background and in the past on shows, but we're going to ramp that up a little bit more, because I truly believe, as I know you do, Patricia, we all have what we need within us. It just needs to be accepted and allowed to expand and come in. So yeah. And we were also chatting about the fact that what's going on for us individually in these current energies at this time, in this place now in space. And currently a lot of mucus, a lot of purging, a lot of feels like a head cold, a lot of activations here in the third eye. I can definitely feel that. A lot of activations around the crown for me specifically. And it's totally normal. Some people get anxiety. That tends to be something you need to look at that's coming up for you, and to really sit through it. And if it's not yours, send it to the sun or Mother Earth, because they both transmute beautifully. But make sure you ask whether or not it's yours and body dose that, so that you know. Because quite often we're picking up information from others, and even the collective information, some of the stuff that comes in, I'm like, I don't know where that one's coming from. But you just, yeah, you just accept and allow. So Norma's having a bit of a purge herself right now as well.
Oh, yeah, and when you look at how the seasons are, you're going from fall to winter to spring to summer, and when you begin to understand that you're not really what they've always defined as getting sick. What you're doing is that time during the winter is basically what they call the hibernation time. But for us as human beings, this is a time for us to reflect and to take that time to see what it is that we must transmute within ourselves, as far as where our emotional levels of reflection come from, to understand what the mirroring of things ultimately mean, to be able to understand that as we go through these winter months, excuse me, we are just taking this time to just see who we are, the things that we see, in that what can we change, what can we recognize that helps us to propel in our understanding of self, so we know how to continue to be a solution oriented individual for self first, then begin to see it happen outside of us by altering who we are. We alter the experience of this realm, of this place of earth, in that way as well. And, and a lot of that has to do with understanding that even this is a time and period where a lot of people are struggling, so to speak, with their emotions. They may be having what they define as anxiety, or, not knowing why they're feeling this way or that way, and why they may be having difficulties in, understanding what steps or what tools or what guidance is needed at the time. And Tanya and I both have been really enjoying this chance and opportunity to be able to guide a group ourselves in uh, the managing emotions.
Mastering.
Mastering. Thank you. So, Tanya, if you want to tap into that a little bit more.
Absolutely. So mastering emotions is about realizing that it's part of being human. It's a beautiful part of being human. So without despair, we wouldn't know the same joy, right? And I'll use an example. As a collective, we collectively, the more you dig into the dark, the more you go into the dark and then bring it up to the light, the more light shines on it, the higher you can go energetically. And so if we look at the collective that way, and each individually, then sadness is a gift, because the opposite of sadness is, right? Is joy. the opposite. So without one, we don't know the other in the same way. And to realize that this is all just, it's not just, it's a journey of self to remember how powerful we truly, truly are. We are creator beings. We are light beings. We're not, we're not dense. We're meant to be so much more. And we are awakening to that now. And there's so much more to anything external as far as money or leaders or anything controlling you. It's what do you want to see in the world, and bringing it from within and then expressing it out, I think is the most powerful thing. And with the managing emotions, we will be running another program on that for people. We've just finalizing the steps and what that looks like as well. And so I love to do things in groups because they all empower each other. It's quite beautiful.
I love working in groups as well. And we know energy, emotions are energy emotion. So there's not a bad, dark emotion. It's part of your truth and your energetics and what's going on for you. So let it flow without judgment. There's too much judgment in the world. And I know I've only got a minute left, so I'm going to say, first of all, I love you both. I appreciate and respect you both. Thank you for being on the show. I look forward to having you again. And I'm going to let you both have your say to the audience. They're also on Rumble, Telegram. Come on, guys. Get in there before the name shifts, and you might not be able to find them. So
Yeah,
when the name shifts, we'll have you back here as well. So
absolutely.
Tanya
Absolutely.
Norma, take us out today, and I'll see you next time on Divine Guidance with Patricia, guys.
Beautiful. Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you for listening to Divine Guidance with Patricia on TransformationTalkRadio.com with me, Patricia McNair. Tune in next time to explore more challenges that can help you achieve your whole being. I know we are all capable of truly being whole, and with a little empowerment, anyone can access an entire universe of knowing that is just waiting to be explored. For more information about me and my services, visit divineguidance.earth. That's divineguidance.earth. See you next time, where together we focus on solutions for the whole being.